Good day, sir. I will introduce to you the different kind of welding. First of all, let's talk about what welding actually is. Welding is a process where we join two or more pieces of metal, and sometimes even thermoplastics, by heating them up until they reach their melting point. Once the once the edge are melted, they fuse together, and when it cools down, it becomes one solid piece. In simpler terms, it's like gluing metal, but instead of using glue, we use heat. The heat melts the metal so the edge can mix together and form a strong bond once it solidifies. Now, welding isn't just one single process. There are actually different kinds of welding, depending on the heat source used and the type of materials being joined. The heat source can come from electricity, like in arc welding, or from a flame, which is called gas welding. There are also more advanced types that use lasers or even friction to create the heat needed for the process. Each type of welding has its own advantage, limitation, and ideal uses, and that's what makes this topic very interesting. Let's move on the statement of the problem. In our study, we wanted to answer this question. What are the unique features and advantages of our chosen welding method compared to other welding methods? We wanted to understand what makes each type of welding special, like which of is stronger, faster, more affordable, or easier to use depending on this situation. For example, some welding methods are best for construction and heavy industries, while others are perfect for smaller projects or delicate materials. By comparing them, we, we can identify which welding process fits certain applications better. Now, let's talk about the objectives of the study. Our research has three main objectives. First, we aim to define and describe the uses of this welding process. In other words, to clearly explain what it is and where it's commonly applied. Second, we want to identify the materials and equipment used in this process. This includes the welding machine, electrodes, safety gear, and other tools needed for the job. It's important to know this because different welding types require different equipment. And third, we'll assess the pros and cons of welding in various applications. Every welding method has its strengths and weakness. For example, some produce very strong joints but are more expensive, while others are cheaper but not as durable. By studying these aspects, we can better understand how to choose the right welding process for a specific task. To sum up this chapter, welding is a fundamental process in construction and manufacturing. It plays a big role in building structures, vehicles, and machines, that we use in our daily lives. Knowing how it works and understanding the different kind of building help us appreciate the science and skill behind it. This introduction gives gives us the foundation for the next chapters of our report, where we'll discuss the specific types of building, their processes, and their application, and more details.